Hey guys, this is your boy Ansem here, going through some long forgotten cards that used to be huge in the game that are kind of being phased out due to either newer people not really knowing what they are or what they do. So I'd like to enrich you into some of these long forgotten cards. First, we're going to start with Amazona Swordswoman. This one goes in your burn decks or your warrior decks or your stall decks. When she is attacked, they take the battle damage, so make sure she's up in attack mode because they take the damage. What's wrong with that? Next we got Armageddon Night. When he's summoned, you can send any dark type from your deck to your graveyard, which is a good. I don't see how that could be bad, especially in your fiend decks when you want to get out your dark necromancer or anything that you do a lot of toggling with your graveyard. Next you got your Big Eye. Big Eye's a flip effect. When he flips face up, you can look at the top 5 of your cards and rearrange it the way you want to draw, which is a good. You got a search card like Giant Rat, Mystic Tomato, that kind of stuff, because it makes you shuffle your deck, which is a bad thing. We got Breaker the he can kind of a one-trick pony. It's like a use it, and you're with him pretty much. Next you got Chaos Necromancer. This card here is very common in your Chaos Necromancer is very common in your hobby leagues. It gains 300 for every monster that's in your graveyard. So come towards mid battle or at the end of battle or towards the end of the duel, he can come out and wreak total havoc. He typically goes in your stall decks and your field control decks. Next, you got Crystal Seer, who I use a lot. Crystal Seer, it's a flip effect. You draw two cards, put one in your hand, put one on the bottom of your deck. Why not? It's an extra card. Next, we got Guardian Order. This one's I put this card in my Lightsworn deck. This card here, you can special summon her if you have 2 other light types on the field. So with Lightsworn coming out so fast, having an additional 2,500 monster doesn't hurt any. And then one of my personal favorites, Helpamir. Helpamir has a really risky but effective effect if you can get it to trigger. When it dies in battle, after in the main phase 2, your opponent has to discard a card from their hand to the graveyard every turn, but it has to die in battle. So typically what you would do is you would tribute summon and get him out, ram it into something, eat the little damage that you might have to, and let Helpamir take effect. Absolute beast mode. But again, it's risky because if he dies any other way, that's too bad. But it has to die in battle. Next is Kaiku, the Ghost Destroyer. This card's an 1800 monster that if he does battle damage, you can remove 2 have to be in the graveyard over for play, and then next we have Morphing Jar. I always have this in my deck. Discard your hand, draw 5. It is a flip effect. Typically, I'd set everything down as I can in aspirations that he be flipped. And that is for your opponent as well. Morphing Jarto is a nasty little card. It makes you remove your monsters and your opponent's monsters, put them back in the deck, and they have to draw cards equivalent to the monsters they had on the field. But they have to be 4-star or under. Anything else is sent directly to the graveyard. A nasty little card. Next we got Raging Flame Sprite. This one's my favorite in burn decks and direct damage of decks. This one does direct attacks. She gains 1,000 extra attack every time she does damage. And since she does direct hits, she's always going to be doing damage. So come turn 3, she can be a 3,000 monster. And just continuous going. Usually you want to pair her up with Gravity Bind or Level Limit B. Next you got Vampire Lord. The card that made Chaos decks popular aside from Envoy. It's Blackluster Soldier, Envoy the End. Vampire Lord has many effects. When he does battle damage to your opponent, you can say monster, spell, or trap, and they have to remove one of those cards that you call out from their deck to the graveyard. His secondary effect is if he's destroyed in any other way except for battle, he comes back on your next phase. So let's say someone used a Lightning Vortex, he gets wiped out. Before my draw phase, he comes back to the field. Why not? He's a pest. I love it. And next we have Witch Doctor of Sparta. Witch Doctor of Sparta is typically in burn decks. It's a 2,000 defense monster, and it does 500 damage every time you special summon a monster. So those of you that remember using card of safe return, you drew a card every time you special summoned. Well, with Witch Doctor of Sparta, they took 500 damage. You drew a card. I mean, that was just then, and especially with Vampire Lord, because he special summons himself. Oh my god! I wreaked havoc. That was my combo myself. So these are some long forgotten cards. Hopefully it helps you guys out. Please sub me, follow me on my Facebook, and if you happen to be watching my Twitch right